Yo, this is Ace Banton in SAT building, baby. You're watching SAT Telecom, that's the #1 choice. Boom!
Whenever the iron play, I'll be there. Wherever the steel band play, I'll be there. Anytime it's carnival, yo, festival, bacchanal, behind the big truck, down the road, everybody, they know that I'll be there. Yo, this is Mr. Challenge, you're watching SAT TV, the people's choice.
SAT Telecommunications Limited apologizes for the loss of service and bad signal earlier on today, 8th March 2013. This is due to our fiber being damaged by fire. SAT Telecoms thank you for your patience and understanding throughout and apologizes for any inconvenience caused. Good evening, welcome to SAT TV News. I am Shana Esprit and I am your presenter for the evening. Among the major developments, Roseau Mayor says he is committed to making Roseau a litter-free city. Turkey welcomes Suriname Vice President in historic meeting. North Korea ends peace pact with South. And in sports, Southern District Football League to take place on Sunday. Details of these and other stories after the break.
SAT Telecoms. And I'm a tutuni. Big up, one love.
It's only when we unite as one, then a lot more thing can be done. Stop this useless fight down, killing out your own brother man. Time we rise and all realize we have an enemy in disguise, standing right in the mix of you. Got to know who is who. This is Derek Peters and you're watching SAT TV. That's what I have, SAT TV. SAT TV, that's the way to go. Rah! To the world. Ooh did ooh did ooh did.
Welcome back. On Thursday, March 7th, 2013, the Dominica State College business students have implemented what they have learned by conducting their own businesses on campus. This event is expected to run till Friday, March 15th, 2013, to help students to understand the procedures and level-headedness of running a business. Ms. Karen Prevost, entrepreneurship and business lecturer at the DSC, says this is an annual event in relation to the small business course tutored at the college.
The students are required to launch and set up a business on campus for a period of 1 day, and as a result of this activity they get some practical experience in entrepreneurship and small business management, and also it is an avenue for them to understand the complexities and the benefits, disadvantages of entrepreneurship, and probably motivate them to be able to start a business sometime in the future.
Ms. Prevost added, many may think that as a small business owner events only work for big businesses that have large budgets and manpower. She noted that the students need to know that if these large companies are taking advantage of events as a means of marketing, then there is no reason why small businesses should not. Ms. Prevost explained to them that the event does not have to be a lavish affair with hundreds of attendees and a dozen speakers. A person can always start with a small crowd with as few as 20 people, she noted.
We have about 19 businesses which will be taking place between this week and next week. Today we have 3 businesses that are on. There is one group which has a fun fiesta going on. Another group is working on homemade jewelry, and we have another group which did treats, fruits on a stick. We have very interesting businesses in store. The students are also judged on creativity, innovation, their ability to market their business successfully, financial management, and organization. So this is just one of the activities that we have ongoing at the Dominica State College to really encourage and motivate our students in business.
Ms. Prevost said one of the things she tries to instill into the students is hosting an event is a great opportunity for their business to gain exposure, especially to local potential customers. The better the event you host, the more company will be remembered, she stated. One of the students had this to say.
We make customized bracelets. It's a small business activity that we have for the course, which is SBM, Small Business Management. And this activity today accounts for our exam mark, basically. So we were to make a product, whatever it was, we could sell food, any item, and then we'd have to sell it on campus, and it would be graded on how we present ourselves, the creativity, the innovation, the sales reaction by our customers, how organized we are, and so on.
In other stories, a formal handing over shoes for sporting activities from the non-governmental organization NGO of the United Nations to the Peace Corps services in Dominica was presented to the Pierre Charles Secondary School on Friday, March 8th. The name of the organization is One World Running, which is an international program that promotes an awareness of health and fitness as well as nutrition. Head speaker and coach at the Pierre Charles Secondary School, Mr. Walson Paquette, says they do this by providing running shoes to those in need within the United States and worldwide. Mr. Paquette goes into further details about the NGO of the United Nations.
Since 1896, a group of runners in Boulder, Colorado has collected and washed to third world countries new and newly used shoes, athletic shoes, t-shirts, shorts, along with medicine and school art supplies. Shoes for the Africans started by a sports journalist called Mike Sandrock, who returned from a coaching and racing trip to the Cameroon in West Africa. Many of the Cameroon runners ran barefooted but still beat Mr. Sandrock. And afterwards, a group of Boulder elite runners, including Lorraine and Arturo Boris, began shipping shoes to West Africa.
Peace Corps volunteer Mr. Sherwin Stoney says he has been in communication with One World Running since August of last year, and he sends his heartfelt appreciation to them for assisting the Pierre Charles Secondary School. Mr. Stoney added that the school's athletic team has been extremely dedicated over the past year, and this donation is well deserved.
We recently, last week, won the national championship for both boys and girls. We also have 2 character qualifiers, and we are looking forward to having possibly 2 or 3 more character qualifiers. So the team has been extremely dedicated over the past year, and this is the coaches, us, Walston and I, showing our appreciation for your dedication, going out and finding donation and ensuring that you have the right equipment and what you need to participate in athletics.
Acting Principal Miss Cindy Alumnes says she is grateful for the donation and will ensure that the shoes donated will be used appropriately.
We say thank you for the gift or the token that have been presented to our school this morning, and we know that it will be used by the students in their training. Thank you very much.
The Pierre Charles Secondary School are under the 21 Secondary Schools champion, and 2 students have qualified for the Carifta Games. SAT TV News will provide you with an interview with both students in our news package on Monday, March 11th. In more stories, as part of the observation of International Women's Day, celebrated on Friday, March 8th, the Bureau of Gender Affairs hosted an open forum on Thursday, March 7th, 2013, on the topic, A Promise is a Promise, Time for Action to End Violence Against Women. Director of the Bureau of Gender Affairs, Ms. Rosie Brown, says, the issue of violence against women continues to be one of the most serious problems in our country, which impedes the development and progress of women. Despite the lack of financing and personnel, in addition to the new sophisticated form of violence, Ms. Brown says they are committed to put measures in place to deal with issues of violence against women. A Scotiabank representative stated, International Women's Day represents a time to inspire women and celebrate their achievements.
To recognize and bring awareness to International Women's Day, Scotiabank Dominica has today presented the Dominica Bureau of Gender Affairs with a donation to assist with creating public awareness under the theme, A Promise is a Promise, Time for Action to End Violence Against Women. In support of International Women's Day, Every Scotiabank employee internationally will be wearing a Scotiabank International Women's Day pin on March 8th. This symbol represents our commitment to advancing the success of women's initiatives with the goal of encouraging conversations about how Scotiabank is creating a bright future for women.
Speaker of the House of Assembly, Honorable Alex Boyd Knight, stated she was very happy to see the number of men at the forum, especially they are the ones that need to be more informed on why they should not engage in violence against women. Mrs. Knight says everything that can be done needs to be done to end violence against women and young girls. And if males are deemed a part of that problem, they have to be a part of the solution. Although it is not only the male perpetrators at fault, there are others who may inadvertently contribute to the ineffectiveness of laws and other strategies intending on eradicating violence against women and girls.
I'm thinking here particularly of these less than ardent and incomplete, if not right, incompetent police investigations. And then there's the judges, the magistrates, and the prosecutors who, in carrying out their duties, and thank God, I have to say, not Dominica, seem to demonstrate the view that some women ask for it. We hear that sometimes here in Dominica, though. But we have to ask ourselves, are the laws that we have on our books pertaining to domestic violence adequate? They may be adequate to a certain extent, but I think what they lack is the enforcement mechanism. There's not enough enforcement mechanism built into both the Sexual Offences Act and the Domestic Violence Act. That is, who does what, when and under what sanction. We need that. And then, so you have to find other solutions.
She highlighted one of her ideas entitled Let the Pocket Pay. This, she stated, should provide legal aid for victims of domestic violence, substantial financial contributions for victims included in the legislation, and where an alleged perpetrator has admitted culpability as he so wishes and the victim agrees, a mediation framework should be established. This, she said, will determine the level of compensation a victim should receive, as well as a mandatory remedial counseling for the perpetrator at his own cost. Magistrate Gloria Angustus revealed that child sexual abuse and domestic violence are among the most destructive experiences a woman can have.
When we look at the violence that happens, in whatever form it happens, it is a violation of human rights. We have to think of it as that. It's a violation of human rights, and it happens everywhere. It transcends race, class, and it takes place in diverse settings. Studies have shown that generally we say that the perpetrators are men. Also, another thing that people say is that a lot of times the perpetrators are persons that you know. But studies have shown that the batterers, if they are men and they batter women, they also frequently abuse children.
Ms. Augustus added, solving the issues of violence against women is not just about laws, but it requires a collaborative effort of all directly and indirectly involved, in addition to those wanting to help make that change. In more news, recently we have heard of the New River Promenade, demolition of dilapidated buildings, and strategic locations of litter bins implemented in our capital. It can be said that the government of Dominica, alongside with the mayor, His Worship Cecil Joseph, have taken up a great cause to enhance the city of Roseau, not only through structure, but keeping the city clean.
The government has looked at the development of Roseau, and in that comes the Riverside Promenade. The council under my watch in the past always had concerns of the present situation of the riverbank.
Mr. Joseph stated the main cause of concern where littering is prevalent is the Roseau River bank. He thinks this problem will be resolved with the New River Promenade. He said a decision of the promenade was not taken because of virtual littering, but because they wanted to pursue a Roseau development program.
The river bank is one of the areas in which some level of improvement, some level of infrastructure must be dealt with, and by virtue of that, That's where we are now. Soon from now, we will be seeing work starting and to ensure that in 2 years from now, that we'll see finalization of that program to help and to develop the city of Roseau.
The smart bins, which are placed all over the city, has made Dominicans very conscious of how garbage is managed, said the mayor. He also complimented the companies that contributed and initiated the smart bins.
We will compliment solid waste for sourcing the smart bins. We need to compliment Discover Dominica because who came as a partner because they too realized that tourism is all of us business, and tourism not necessarily come from the ship, but also to people who come from other communities in Dominica. They too are considered as visitors to the city. And the Roseau City Council had the initiative of the Adopt a Block, and to ensure that by business people adopt the block, we will see a cleaner city. So presently, today, we have a cleaner city.
He further added that the smart bins isn't the only major contribution to less littering in Roseau, but the bins have played an important role in ensuring that the people no longer litter indiscriminately. He urged Dominicans to now look for a smart bin and place their garbage in them. When asked if the Littering Act should be enforced, this is what he had to say.
In reference with the document of which is the law, the act of the litter bin, I honestly feel that the litter bin needs a little bit more teeth. It has been a document that has been placed there for us for some years. I think 2007 was the last time it was amended, subject to correction. I believe that the fines that are within the litter bins are too minimal. I think we should get like some European countries where if you're caught littering, that you are requested to pay big sums.
Mr. Joseph referred to a song of Bob Marley which says, "Emancipate yourself from mental slavery, none but ourselves can free our mind," which goes to say we should not be speaking of enforcement of litter bins, but how we can eradicate them and manage our own litter. In more news, appreciating people for the good work they can do can go a long way in continued motivation, which the President of Dominica Association of Persons with Disabilities, Mr. Alexander St. Luce, recognizes.
I would like to say a heartfelt thank you to the Executive Director, members of staff, and other long-serving members for a job well done. This is a non-profit organization and alive and active for 50 years is a tremendous achievement. The association is still grappling to meet its commitments, and so the call still goes out to corporate citizens, donors, and other interested groups for your assistance in helping keep the doors of the city open. Mention must be made of those who have supported the association over the years and who still continues to do so. May the good Lord bless you.
Mr. St. Luce added he would like to see the hard work and determination of the team continue. He also used the time to send a condolence message to the citizens of Venezuela.
On behalf of the Board of Directors and members of the Dominica Association of Persons with Disabilities, DAPD, we would like to add our voice by saying how saddened we are on hearing of the passing of the President of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, Hugo Chavez. He was a true friend of Dominica. Dominica can testify of that friendship as we look around us and see the many lives that he has touched by his contribution to the poor and the needy. We wish to say to his family and the people of Venezuela that God will keep you and comfort you during this difficult time.
The Dominica Freedom Party also sent their condolences to the people of Venezuela. They noted the death of President Hugo Chavez will undoubtedly create a void not only in Venezuela, but also in Latin America, the Caribbean, and the international community generally. Dominica has had a long and fruitful relationship with the government and people of Venezuela, and it is hoped that this relationship will continue for the mutual benefit and well-being of the peoples of both countries. As Venezuelans mourn the passing of President Chavez, the Dominica Freedom Party extends sincere condolences to the family, friends, government, and people of Venezuela in their time of bereavement. In other stories, the DFP remembers the late Meshach Hamilton Linton of Marigot, who died earlier this week, as an individual who contributed to the development of his community and Dominica by extension. He was an educator, served as principal of several schools around the island, chairman of the Dominica Banana Growers Association in the early 1980s, and a senator in the Parliament of the Commonwealth of Dominica during the first term of the Freedom Party government from 1980 to 1995. Mr. Linton also served on a number of statutory boards, including the Electoral and Boundaries Commission, Education and Public Service Commission. The Freedom Party extends sincere condolences to his wife, children, extended family, relatives and friends, and the community of Marigot. The management and staff of Stat Telecoms also send condolences to the Linton family during this difficult time. May God bless you all. In other news, many well-wishers, including government ministers, government officials, and high-ranking police officers, turned out in large numbers at the St. Alphonsus Church in Goodwill, where a memorial mass was held for the late president of Venezuela, Hugo Chavez. Monsignor Eustace Thomas, the officiating priest, described Mr. Chavez as a political warrior, one who had a passion for his people.
The death of President Chavez reveals to us that man proposes, but God disposes. In other words, when our Lord and Master, when the trumpet blasts, when the time comes for us to leave this vale of tears, go we must. And despite the progress in the world of medicine, and notwithstanding the way our brave warrior battled what is termed an unspecified cancer in the pelvic region, otherwise known among some of his faithful followers as the enemy's obia, our friend succumbed. People are speculating. May God be the ultimate and only judge.
Monsignor Thomas says a lesson to learn is that immorality is reserved to God and God alone. He said all leaders, whether in the realm of the spiritual, must remember that one day all of us will die and will have to give an account of our stewardship to our Creator. Monsignor Thomas pointed out that Mr. Chavez did a lot for his country and the Caribbean and will always be remembered as a humanitarian.
Comrade Hugo Chavez came among us. He made us feel close to him. He felt comfortable with us. He was one of us. He was not a god. He may have been idolized by many Dominicans and other persons in the region and beyond, but there must have been a reason. Despite his humanity, he touched the lives of many. And our lives have been touched by his physical presence among us and by the help he offered while he lived these 14 years, as a president. In our country, we can express all gratitude to him, his family and country for a number of reasons.
He revealed Mr. Chavez assisted Dominica in education through scholarships, the Scots Head Sea Defense Wall, funding to help eradicate the Black Sigatoka disease, and free cooking gas to centenarians. He also supported the government's Yes We Care program. The minister's counselor, Mr. Francisco Ansola, says Mr. Chavez was a fighter for the poor and always tried to ensure they could live a good life.
He argued with the, well, we could say, rich people, and telling them what's going on the other side, and told the other side, okay, there is a better world, you have to fight for it. And for us people in a kind of a decision position, we should learn from him that what we should do to improve the quality of life of poor people. And On the other side, he loves so much Dominica. If you have a count of president, head of state, head of government that came to Dominica, you maybe Chavez is on top of this list, if there is any that we can make up. And not only that, he came twice. He loves so much Dominica that he came twice to show by himself to the people of even Venezuela and Dominica how much he loves and how things should be done.
Minister of Health, Honorable Julius Timothy says Mr. Chavez will be remembered as a friend, a brother, and a benefactor.
President Chavez was a household name here, admired and loved for the special friendship he had developed with Dominicans from all walks of life. His was a friendship that stood the test of time. He had a profound understanding of the causes of underdevelopment in countries that had experienced the yoke of colonialism. He was therefore aware of the issues confronting Dominica as we face the challenge of providing a comfortable standard of living for ourselves. His caring and sensitivity to our needs always elicited a positive response. As a matter of fact, he was sometimes ahead of us, especially after a local disaster, when he would call the Honorable Prime Minister offering assistance even before we had time to assess the magnitude of the loss we had suffered.
He went on to highlight a number of projects carried out in Dominica which were made possible by Mr. Chavez. In more stories, the Fort Young Intermediate Competition was launched on Wednesday, 6 February 2013. The president of the Dominica Cricket Association, Mr. Emmanuel Nathan, said he is thankful for the active assistance that was contributed to cricket. He stated that there are a lot of roadblocks in the opening of cricket season. However, because of their sponsors, the trials have been alleviated.
Thank you very much to Fort Young Hotel for coming on board as our most recent sponsor with the Dominica Cricket Association to sponsor our intermediate league. For the last year, we had no sponsor, and it has been difficult getting sponsors over the years for the intermediate league. And this year, Fort Young decided to come on board and to be the sponsor for this very crucial and vital competition for us.
Mr. Nathan said the game of cricket is our national sport where both men and women participate, so we need to enhance it in many ways possible. He highlighted Digicel has always contributed significantly to the development of cricket in Dominica, and had it not been for the generous contributions, the league would not be where it is today. The Dominica Cricket Association expressed its intention of launching a DCA website to expose the sport internationally.
We are also going to be launching a DCA website. We believe if we're going to advance the game in the way that we want to, then we have to get involved at every level. We have to create the interactive things. We have to put the information out there. People have to be able to access the DCA information and get in. And of course, we will provide any amount of advertisement that we can for all our sponsors free of charge on our website.
Sales and Marketing Manager of Fort Young Hotel, Mrs. Marvelyn James, was delighted to say that Fort Young Hotel prides itself in nation building through support of sports and all sectors possible. She said the partnership between Fort Young Hotel and DCA is one and is proud to be a part of such a great initiative. The development of cricket is vital, and they are proud to be the sponsors of the AGL League and the DCA.
We are proud to be the sponsor of the AGL League and Dominica Cricket Association, and we are, well, you will see, but we are going to be sponsoring in the sum of $10,000, and this is a pledge of our support for the league. We congratulate the Dominica Cricket Association on their continued efforts to keeping the game of cricket alive. We also encourage the business community to come on board. Those of you who are out there listening, come on board and to continue to support the sport of cricket in any way possible.
In her last remarks, Mrs. Alexander wished the association a successful AGL League. The check of $10,000 was presented to Mr. Nathan. Mr. Jeff Pear and Mike Jones both presented a preview of what the website will look like. The luncheon came to a climax with a prize-giving ceremony for the winners of last year's cricket competition. The Desiderata Tremors, winner of the Premier League Cup, was awarded a plaque and a cheque for the efforts of their success. In the Intermediate League, the Mariner Blasters emerged winner, while the runner-up was New India Cavaliers. The Under-19 League winner was the East team, and the West team was runner-up. A number of athletes who represented Dominica at the Carifta Trials in Trinidad over the past weekend have performed very well, thus making their country proud. Both times has qualified Luan to compete at the International Association of Athletics Federation under 18 World Youth Championship in Ukraine later this year. Mr. Ajani Reef of the Westmore Rangers also joins Miss Gabrielle as a World Youth qualifier after he clocked at a time of 22.67 seconds in the under-20 boys 200 meters. Mr. Donny Joseph again went past the qualifying standard for the Carifta Games Cardiff for Easter 2013 in the Bahamas, as he accumulated a total of 4,080 points in the open boys heptathlon, which is a total of 7 events done over a 2-day period. Rising talent in the middle distance running, Mr. Dane Alexander ran personal best time in his 2 events. In the 1500 meters, he ran more than 10 seconds faster than his previous best, clocking a time of 4 minutes and 27 seconds. In the 800 meters, he shaved off 2 seconds of his previous best, running a time of 2 minutes and 4 seconds in the under-20 boys semi-finals. However, this training partner, Mr. Linus Joseph, clocked 2 minutes and 9 seconds in the 800 meters, which was 3 seconds outside his previous best. The Aspirers Athletics Clubs of Portsmouth and the Westmore Rangers of Marigot extends gratitude to the sports coordinator, Mr. Trevor Shillingford, and the Ministry of Sports for their investment made towards the success of this trip. Special thanks also go out to Mr. Billy Doctrove, the manager for Luan Gabriel, and Ms. Renata Sagengaltha for their financial support. Mr. Thomas Slater, Bloater's Barbershop, First Choice Delight, and the Irish family.
It's only when we unite as one, then a lot more thing can be done. Stop this useless fight down, killing out your own brother man. Time we rise and all realize we have an enemy in disguise, standing right in the mix of you. Got to know who is who. This is Derek Peters and you're watching SAT TV. That's what I have, SAT TV. SAT TV, that's the way to go. Rah! To the world. Ooh diddy, ooh diddy, ooh diddy.
Yo, gang to the Zilla, you're watching Sat Telecom, the people them choice, hear that, Rasta.
I think the celebration is a remarkable thing. I think women have achieved a great deal on this planet, and they continue to make tremendous strides and contributions, especially in Dominica. More respect should be directed at women, but in general, I think the trend is changing, and women are beginning to gain the respect that they deserve. They play such an important role in nurturing our families and our young people that we should make every effort to show respect and treat them with the dignity that they deserve.
And I don't see women being respected in society.
Why do you think that is so?
I guess because of the American change, the American vibe that we have picked up here in the Caribbean and in Dominica. You know, the way they dress, the way they behave, and the way they live their life. I guess we have gone astray to what we know as, you know, being modest. You know, I would like to encourage women that, you know, being sexy is not about revealing your body, but being sexy is you wear something that can be appealing, but not advertising what you should not be advertising, you know, just being modest and being true to yourself.
I think a celebration of the celebration of International Women's Day is a wonderful day, because for a sex that has been trampled on, degraded, we hardly had any rights before, and now to see we have an entire day in celebration of ourselves, it's great. And I just want to advise all women and men out there to take heed of the little things you say and do, because that continues the perpetuation of degradation of women